Lemmy has always been one of a kind, and there is no surprise that today, almost 7 years after he left this world, rock and metal did not find anyone to replace him. And I actually don't think that we ever will.
Hello boys and girls, you remember me, don't you?
And so today, in 2022, hearing new music by Motörhead is an extremely bittersweet feeling. So let's take a look at the first in 7 years new track by Motörhead and jump in a popular debate whether these releases are an abuse of Lemmy's memory or a true gift for every metalhead in the world. Here you go. A little backstory. The re-release of Motörhead's final 23rd studio record Bad Magic has just been announced and is set to hit the stores in February of 2023. And this news most likely would have passed mostly unnoticed by me and many others. If not for one reason. Okay, actually two reasons. Together with this announcement, the Motörhead estate has also dropped a brand new song by the loudest band in the world. And before you start throwing things at your computer, no, the remaining Motörhead members of course did not get back together and hired a new vocalist. It's even funny to pronounce something like this out loud. Yeah. And Bullet in Your Brain is of course a previously recorded yet unreleased track from the band that simply played rock and roll. Lemmy's enervated voice and Phil Campbell's guitar tone makes it very clear that this indeed is one of the latest tracks recorded by Lemmy and the band during the final album sessions. In fact, in the video we got to see some of the previously unreleased footage of the boys in the studio working on Bad Magic. And here you once again realize that Lemmy was in fact the king of rock and roll. For even though he was clearly struggling and going through a lot of pain at that stage of his life, he, instead of going on his retirement, still kept going, doing the only thing he knew: write music and play heavy metal louder than anybody else in this world. The overall sound is of course very typical to that developed by Motörhead in the 21st century, with simple yet effective harmonies and a somewhat exhausted yet still sharp and grim vocals by Lemmy. The bridge is somewhat reminiscent of the rock and roll album era, although still perfectly fits in the band's latest sound. Yet, what is somewhat surprising in this track is Phil's solo. Cause yes, it is true, on Bad Magic Phil Campbell actually decided to experiment a little and deviated from his own formula a bit, but on this track, it actually looks like before going to the studio, he had a pint or two with another guitarist. Yeah, that one. Other than that, Bullet in Your Brain is a rather archetypal track for the late Motörhead, and if it would have been released before the 28th of December in 2015, I could have actually possibly even put a grade on it. Yet at this point, it is virtually impossible. Cause no, of course Bullet in Your Brain is not the strongest track in the Motörhead discography, and of course I cannot put it in the same basket as Ace of Spades or the title track to my favorite album, and it's that one in case you're wondering. But I'll be honest with you, hearing this track and Lemmy's voice once again actually brought tears to my eyes, because it made me realize how much I miss him. And just remember how much this man has done for the development of metal around the world.
We are Motorhead, okay? We're gonna kick your ass.
I usually am very skeptical of multiple re-releases of the same albums on which the same songs are reshuffled and repackaged to make them look new, but in reality nobody even cares to make them sound somewhat different to whatever has been released before that. Although I'll have to be very honest with you, I actually do have a couple of those. Okay, maybe 3 or 4. But in my opinion, to be able to hear something that you haven't heard ever before by one of the greatest rockers to ever walk the earth, who by the way was also super cool in person, is a true blessing. And I have to be very honest with you, at this point I don't even care what exactly it is. Just the fact that I found something that I haven't heard before by Motörhead is kind of enough for me. Especially if you take a look at the track list of the upcoming re-release, and especially the closer track, which as you can see by the title is another unreleased track by Motörhead. Most likely I assume from exactly the same period of time.
Now I'm afraid and bruised again. Now I chase you down with a bullet in your brain. Whoa.
So yes, I understand that in a nutshell, this re-release is going to be exactly the same as the latest studio album by Motorhead, but the fact that we get to hear 2 new tracks by the legendary Motorhead makes me extremely excited. Because I'll be honest with you, Motorhead alongside Iron Maiden and Judas Priest played a very important role in my life when I was growing up. And at this point I'm just very curious to find out how many more unreleased tracks Motorhead music has under their sleeves, especially from the early era.
Overkill. Overkill. Overkill.
But what do you guys personally think? Do you think that by releasing these tracks, someone is kind of abusing Lemmy's memory, or are you happy that those are just being issued? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this short video, guys. Please do not forget to subscribe to Metal Pilgrim, and please continue supporting my country, Ukraine, in any way you possibly can. We will prevail. Slava Ukraini!